Hi, this is Mary Kay from Country High Road. We are honored and privileged to be here with Allie Colleen at Stoney's in Vegas.
Stoney.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you bring warm clothes? It's kind of chilly here.
I have found some essentials along the way.
There
I
you
can
go.
tell you that.
What is it you absolutely have to have on the bus when you travel?
Oh my goodness. It's such a lame answer, but like water. I mean, we ran into not having water this time. You know what I mean? And it was just like, dang. But honestly, I can sleep anywhere. That's my superpower. So I don't need a lot. I can sleep standing up if I need to. So the fact that I got a bunk and a blanket and a pillow, like,
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. So when you started out your career, what were as you got going, what were some of the surprises, disappointments, lessons that you learned as you got into it and as your career grew?
Everything. I had a very, very cool opportunity to grow up in a really, really, really big small town. You know what I mean? So like, it was massive compared to a lot of my friends' small towns. But all that to say, we got put into performing really, really early through a really cool studio there. Like I would go sing at Chick-fil-A, like in like Carol, you know what I mean? Or like I'd go play at the mall. And that was when I was like 14, 15. And then 16, I played at a barbecue shop where I would waitress during the weeks and play on the weekends. So I learned very quickly that you are often not the reason people are where you're at. You know what I mean? And that's the case for a lot of starting musicians. You're playing at bars where they didn't come to hear you play. They came to the bar for live music, sure, you know, and beer and wings, and you were just one of the commodities at the bar, you know, so you kind of learn to be background music. And that was disheartening on some nights, but it wasn't when you just thought about it that way. You know, like, this is a business, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then the opposite side of that, like, just those little moments that I was like, dang, this is cool, would be the first time where I was like, what brought you to the scoreboard tonight? They're like, just you. And I was like, it wasn't the wings or the beer, it was me. And just like those moments continue to happen over and over, and just in the maybe a bigger way, but it feels the same. You know, like last night we had people sing our songs, and usually people love our music, but they're hearing it for the first time. And last night people had known it before they came. You know what I mean? And that was a really
That's huge.
That was a really big one.
Now, how hard is it to learn trust in this industry?
I think you have to look at it in the same way that you would put trust into any business situation. You know what I mean? When you look at this as personal, that's when, one, you're going to get hurt, two, you're going to set very unrealistic expectations for yourself and everybody else. You know what I mean? So you can't look at it like trusting a best friend or trusting a partner or trusting a family member, but you can find your people that you put trust in. And for me, that trust has always came from, I know I'm doing my side, so I know you're going to do your side. You know, it's much different than a relationship trust, but you can find it.
Now, you've shared the stage and been with other artists, even like newcomers, you know, old guys, veterans, whatever, you know, who've been at it a while. What do you like? What are some of the biggest things you take from them, learn and stuff?
I think I learned a lot from like the still moments, because it's really fun to go out there during a big song, right, and have a blast. It's really fun to go out there and look like you're having fun during Halos and Horns, because I don't know how you couldn't. It's just a really big, fun song. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of slower songs that have just this really nice piece to them. And I think when you're on stage, you think everyone's watching you every second of every moment. You know what I mean? And that you should be performing every second of every moment. But like sitting back and getting to open for Ashley McBryde, and then just being a huge fan of Cody Johnson, and just going to shows like that and watching those artists take their own moments and they step back, you know, while on stage, and just watch the crowd for a minute, or let the guitar player really take it. And I feel like those were the moments that I learned so much from, was just watching them do it and like realizing like, I can also go up there and take a second and be like, look at what we're doing. Like, that's very cool. And not feel so pressured, because the opposite way, 2 days later, you're like, I had a show and it was really fun. And I haven't thought about it until now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a big one for me.
Because things get pretty hectic,
Yeah.
you know.
And they go really fast.
Yeah. And then later, like you say, the next day it's like, oh, wow, that show last night or 2 days ago was great.
Yeah, I wish I would have like been there. You know what I mean? So I think that's just kind of the breathing moments.
So you pretty much like, same as any artist, like playing just about anywhere. Like, what are your favorite type of venues? And like when you come into a venue, do you maybe look around, or maybe just kind of as it goes on, feel the crowd later on and change your set list up a little?
Yeah. You always have to read the crowd and understand kind of what they're wanting next and what's going to keep them there. And then the opposite too. It's even more exciting looking for, could people possibly be wanting to have a sentimental moment, which is often not the case. Normally it's like, when's the next banger on the set list, when's something like fun, but sometimes you get to do the opposite. And then I think a big thing for us that we've learned is I love the venues where people come every Saturday night, regardless of who's playing, just that person who the venue owner almost always introduces you to them in the sense of like, they come here every single Saturday. It doesn't matter if they know the artist or if they don't, like they're just here for music. And I think those kind of venues are the greatest venues on the planet.
And they're sometimes the smallest venues.
Yes, and those people don't know us, from Adam or anybody, and they just hear the music, and like they just showed up just to hear music, and then also by chance really liked what we did. Like that's very cool. And
then you garner fans after that.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. When from your debut single, Work in Progress, your debut album, Stones, and now your current single, Honest Man, which I love.
Thank you.
What platform other than touring do you feel is one of the best ways to get your music out there?
Social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I know specifically everyone's going for the viral TikTok song. I get that. I think something that we've really had to remind ourselves lately is I have found myself probably for the last year targeting all of my content or all of my everything to get followers, opposed to recognizing this amazing following that we have and have had for quite a while, you know what I mean, who kind of want deeper, more sentimental stuff and want to know me better, opposed to the post that just, again, reins in somebody new who didn't know who we are. So TikTok is such a vital one, I think, to get your sound out there and to get maybe noticed or something. But Instagram for me is where we create relationships with these people and really give them a little bit of me, as a person, nonetheless as an artist.
Do you think radio station tours are really instrumental in a lot of this too?
I think they're huge. I don't know how beneficial it is business-wise when you look at the whole scope, because obviously it depends on who you are and what you're doing and what your song is and all that stuff. But I will say, as a consumer, when I hear somebody come on the radio, there's already a much larger platform in my head that they are on than a social media basis. You know what I mean? Just because like the radio game is still very much business driven and very much like nothing happens by chance on the radio. You know what I mean? Things happen by chance on streaming and viral posts and social media and stuff, but just on radio, like they are there because they planned this out, they budgeted it out, they did the business part, they did all that stuff. So I think as a consumer, it's huge, when I hear somebody doing a radio interview or something, it makes me more interested in who they are as an artist, I think, opposed to when someone comes on a playlist that I like. But with that said, I don't think it's like your end-all, be-all if you don't do radio.
Okay, Lee Bryce, Jared Neiman. Give us the background on that.
Oh, you want the tea?
I want what brought that all about? How did you nail them two?
They're so fun. We put out the Stones album, like you had mentioned, and there's 2 songs on that project called Wildflower and then Stones, the title track, that Sarah Bryce was a writer on, which is Lee's wife. Ooh. And so Sarah and I have gotten really close as writers for a long time. And Lee a couple of times just wandered in and out of the co-write as they would, kind of thing. And he always really liked what we did. And through that relationship and everything, we ended up writing together, him and Sarah and I, and then just kind of moved from that into, hey, would you consider taking a producing role, on this next song that I have? And it was because of a demo that I'd heard of his that I thought matched the energy of Halos and Horns so well. And I knew that he produced it. And so when I reached out to him about it, he said, well, I had a friend do that with me who's really responsible for a lot of the way that it turned out. So I would like to have him on with me if you decide to have us. And I said, anybody that I would know? And he's like, it's Jared. And I was like, Jiminy Christmas. Okay, this just gets better and better.
Yeah.
And so we did 3 songs together, and we're very, very proud of them. And we're hoping to do some more in the future as well. But we finished our 3-song project that we had together, and I'm so proud, and it was so much fun. And those are you talk about people to learn from. Those are big guys to learn from.
I was just going to ask you that. The songwriting group is like such a tight-knit community. What did you have to do? Like, were there steps or like initiations per se, just as you started out to get into those groups?
I found my own groups, and I'm very grateful for that. Most of my writers are artists as well. So most of my writers are they're first known as artists, and they're very successful in that way. And then for most of them, their cuts would be Allie Colleen songs, which is very cool to me and very, very sweet because they're so talented, opposed to going and finding, something more of like a writer camp that everybody's familiar with, right, that has number ones and has very much success. It's not that my writers, my artists don't. It's just I really feel like I went and found people that I cared about and found people that cared about me, opposed to going and trying to find the greatest writer in town. I went and kind of found the best people on the planet, and they're also really, really, really talented.
That's a different way. I've never really looked at it like that. Yeah.
So I just went and found friends, and we wrote songs together, and we care about them. And I think that that's, your storyline and your title and they matter. Those are big deals. But caring about a song while you're writing it is much more instrumental, I think, than people realize.
Now, in like writers, is that where you kind of find your producers and engineers and things like that? Everybody kind of shares. Yeah. Because I know Joe Costa was part of this process, and
Joe Costa was a huge part of this process, and them too, just showing up as friends first. Carly Rogers, she's here with me tonight, gonna play Stoney's with me. She's an amazing artist on her own. We met at college. We went to Belmont together. And I write for her and she writes for me. But all that to say, her and I were playing this little tiny pilgrimage festival south of Nashville one summer. And Joe and Martina showed up just as fans. And they're like, where you head next? We go, we go to Kentucky. And they go, we go to Kentucky. And that's not an unheard conversation, but you never link up in Kentucky. You know what I mean? You just don't. You say you will, you call it good, you never see each other again. They came and they found us in Kentucky. The next night and just spent an evening with us just being friends, and me and Martina just fell in love as little soul sisters, and we hang out all the time and we do horse girl stuff, and it's so fun. And then through that met my first producer, which was Joe. So again, you just meet everybody through everybody, and you just kind of got to stick your neck out there, but you can get really lucky.
And they are so talented.
They're
those
amazing.
two. I enjoy them so much, so much.
Joe
we need them to get them here.
The recent single as well, Honest Man.
Yeah.
So Joe came back around with me, and then we did that, which was very interesting because I just literally showed up at his house and I was like, "Can we just do an acoustic work tape today? I just need something for something." And he goes, "Sure." And then it was just so pretty the way that he did it. I said, "Will you throw maybe 2 more instruments on this and call it good?" And he said, "Sure." And I said, "Okay."
Now, Honest Man the streams have exceeded. Great. It's just been amazing. It's been amazing. And have you received anything from fans, like any of their experiences, or how they can do they relate to this song?
We receive a lot of things. We so many women have surprised me in this that have reached out because I thought that it could encourage women like me who not even think differently. It's not a wild thought to ask a man to marry you. It's not obscene. It's not anything no one's ever thought of before, but it doesn't seem to be very encouraged. You know what I mean? And I was so blown away by how many women responded to this song. Like, thank you for validating this and making it cool. Because I did this 20 years ago, and it wasn't cool. And, they've been married with their husband 20, 30 years. And those are the numbers that blew my mind. Was that 20, 30 years ago, women were out here like, no, I'm going to ask him to marry me. Let's go. And I think it's the coolest thing on the planet. We have a lot of women who would like to use this for vow renewals. Because again, they did propose to their husband so many years ago, and they wanted something to really validate it and make it special. And so we've talked about a lot of vow renewals. A lot of women are using it for their weddings this coming fall, and it's just such a cool way to empower women and also make men feel cute, right, and pursued and sexy and wanted and all of those things. So I'm very proud of what this song has accomplished lyrically, and we just got to get more people to hear it.
Yeah. So I know it's early in the year and everything, but what projects, what journeys, what do you got going on now the rest of the...
We've got a lot of stuff that we're excited about. A lot of shows, playing in places for the first time. A couple of venues that have been bucket list venues, a couple of venues that we've just never been anywhere around it before. I don't even know what to expect, so I'm very excited about that. We've got new music. We've got some weird stuff coming out. We've got some pop stuff that we're going to tease tonight in our set here at Stoney's. That we've teased a little bit on social media, and it's got a big response to it already, and just kind of do that kind of thing, but really try and spend as much time on the road as we can, because that's when we do our best. It's when I get to go and meet people and shake hands and thank people also for showing up, so I enjoy that a lot.
The normal question, who do you want to co-write with or sing with or do a song with? Who would you, that you haven't?
I would absolutely love to write with Ashley McBride. I think that we would write some really, really cool stuff. I would love to do a feature with Diplo or something as well with one of the DJs. and producers. I think that that would be so fun, especially if I got to write on it as well. And then through projects like we have, I have a really, really cool song out with Carter Winter called Love Like I Drink. And then Carly Rogers got to do the duet with her this year, Blame It on the Wine. And there's just something, I've always been such a kid for duets, always. I just think it's like, country music's like the narrative genre, and we're failing to bring in a second character all the time. Like, I think duets are the coolest thing on the planet, regardless of how you want to do them. So I would love to write more stuff like that as well. And with Carly and Carter again, as well as other artists.
I love duets.
They're so
I
cool.
they just bring out different
Yeah.
things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They just totally do. So I can only see your career getting bigger and bigger. I really
Thank
do.
you. Good.
And I think after tonight, you will garner more fans. So where can all these fans find you at?
My most active social media is Instagram, so Allie Colleen Music on Instagram. But our website is Allie Colleen Music as well, and it will direct you to literally everything that we have. We do TikTok stuff. I do a lot of lives on Instagram as well and TikTok. So those are kind of our two most active stuff. And then we've got a constant tour tab updated on the website as well and all that kind of stuff. You can get merchandise from the website. It's all pretty cool. We got some spooky stuff. We got some cute stuff. We got all the things. But we're very excited for what's ahead. And we're very excited for tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, I applaud you. You have such strong determination and you stand your ground. You're true to yourself, and I really admire that in you and any artist, and especially the women. I mean, do you notice how the women are becoming stronger now? You're hearing more women artists.
I hear that, and I notice it a lot. I think the biggest thing for me, and it's not to blame anything on the man again, because I think that also gives you guys too much credit, but I will say, women are starting to pick their songs for the first time. You know, I mean, independent artists, we don't have to ask anybody if we can put a song out. We can just put it out. And it can be about asking a man to marry you. Or it can be about how we don't really like the dude's mom. Or it can be about us just being amazing women. Like, women can pick their songs for the first time. Opposed to even in the 90s when they were on top of everything, there was still a very guided narrative that women were singing about. And now we get to sing about what we want to. And I think that's really bringing stuff around.
It's making things a little different. It's
It
tossing
is.
it up a little
Because I
more.
want to listen to what they want to sing about as well.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I also didn't care about what they were made to sing about. You know what I mean? I was like, all these narratives don't make us seem very cool, you guys. Why are we always at home? What are we doing?
Yeah. Or
So-
traveling with them and not doing
Yeah.
anything.
We're mad at him. What
Yeah.
are we doing? Just find someone you're not mad at all the time. What
That's
are we
for
doing?
sure.
So I'm very excited to have women sing about what they want, and I think it also opens up a narrative for men to sing about women in a certain type of way that I'm also excited about. So,
Well,
all good things.
Allie, I want to appreciate your time today because I know things get hectic here when you're traveling, especially when you come into town, and it's cold. So have a great show tonight. Be safe in
Thank
all
you.
your travels, and enjoy life.
Thank you for taking time to speak with me as well. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks. Bye, Allie.
Bye, you guys.